Hello and welcome to News Central now, coming to you live from our studios in Nigeria. I'm Sulaiman Aled, and here are the headlines. Others are: Zimbabwe is close to rejoining the Commonwealth of Nations. Almost 2,000 inmates have been forcefully released from prison in Nigeria's southeastern state of Imo. 4 soldiers killed in a twin terror attack in southeastern Niger Republic. Details shortly. Let's begin in southern Africa, where Zimbabwe is close to rejoining the Commonwealth of Nations as re-engagement efforts continue to bear fruits. The country is already in the second stage of the application process. In May of 2018, President Emmerson Mnangagwa wrote to the Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland, expressing Zimbabwe's willingness to return to the group after nearly 2 decades of isolation. The new administration led by Mnangagwa is opening Zimbabwe for business and is eager to end the isolation of the country on the global stage. For more on this, I'm now being joined by Zimbabwean journalist Lala Ngwenya. Good to have you join me, Lala. Quickly, in 2018, Zimbabwe applied to rejoin the Commonwealth 15 years after it quit the organization of the former British colonies. What's changed at the moment?
Good evening. Hope you are well.
I'm good.
2003, that's when Zimbabwe left the Commonwealth. And as you may know, that was during the heated land reform program, where we were claiming back land from minority white farmers that more or less owned the majority of the fertile land. So that happened during that time because there were a lot of atrocities, that were committed, and lots of human rights abuses that were committed at the time. However, you can never be an island in this world, especially now with technology advancements. We are like a global village, so we cannot live in isolation. A lot of things have happened. Zimbabwe has lagged behind due to not being part of such international bodies like the Commonwealth. So what we really need, and I think that's what the president, His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa, also is hoping for, that re-engagement would then open up new opportunities for the country that may also lead to the ordinary person out there on the streets benefiting. So basically, we have been left out in the cold for way too long, and it's time that Zimbabwe rejoins the rest of the world. It's time that Zimbabwe gets on these international bodies, because we have so much to offer and we have so much more to learn from such international bodies. Thank you.
Well, now that you've given us the benefits of rejoining the Commonwealth, let's now see, is there any possibility of this facilitating the removal of international sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe?
Well, that's actually the hope. The hope is that readmission to Commonwealth, back into the Commonwealth, would actually make it easier for the country and some of SADC. There's this SADC. There's this move, rather, or this campaign against the sanctions that were imposed in Zimbabwe in SADC, within the SADC countries. So there is a common belief that readmission into the Commonwealth will actually help in advocating for the removal of these sanctions, because once we are readmitted into the Commonwealth, by the way, we are in the second stage, which is consultations, where member countries of the Commonwealth need to then plead their case for or against Zimbabwe. So that's the stage that we're in. We're hoping that by the meeting in Rwanda in June, we'll will yield some results, whether we are getting readmitted back or if there's something that Zimbabwe needs to do before it gets readmitted into the Commonwealth.
Many thanks, Lala, for unpacking this for us. We'll stay on this. Lala Ngwenya, Zimbabwean journalist. Now we'll move on to West Africa, where an investigation has been commissioned following an attack by gunmen that led to the forceful release of almost 2,000 inmates in a prison facility in Owerri, the capital of Nigeria's southeastern state of Imo. Governor of the state, Hope Uzodimma, has visited the site of the incident and called for a detailed investigation into the attack. The governor says the state is already working to ensure those behind the attack are prosecuted to forestall a reoccurrence.
Well, this unfortunate tragedy can only be condemned by every reasonable mind. And I want to assure our people, the intention is to put fear into our people and make them vulnerable. But I can assure you, our government, working with security agencies, will rise to the occasion and get to the end of the matter. I've already commissioned a detailed investigation into this incident with a view to finding out the perpetrators and the masterminds of this ugly incident. Luckily for us, no life was lost. But however, the properties that were destroyed is also unacceptable. So going forward, government will rise to the occasion. And our security agencies are now prepared more than ever to be more proactive and ensure that there will be no repeat of this type of ugly incident. Well, the lifeless body you saw was not by any bullet wound or as a result of any shooting. I think the body became unconscious as a result of shock. And I'm told that the issue is being managed by the medical team on Nature Owerri Road at the military checkpoint. I'm not aware. Thank God he said the story is unconfirmed. I'm not aware of any loss of life.
In the meantime, prison authorities say 6 inmates have so far voluntarily returned to the facility. 35 inmates refused to join the escapees during the attack. Public Relations Officer of the Corrections Center, Francis Enobore, told News Central that the acting controller of corrections, John Rabure, has appealed to the public to offer useful information that can lead to the rearrest of the escapees. 5 of 39 students abducted from the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization in Nigeria's northwestern state of Kaduna have regained freedom. The 5 students returned on Monday afternoon and have been taken to a military medical facility for examination. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, said in a statement that updates will be provided and further operational feedback on their return. The 5 students and 34 of their colleagues were abducted by bandits who invaded the school on March 11. It is unclear if the returnees were rescued by the military. Now, in neighboring Nigeria, a twin terror attack has killed 4 soldiers in the southeastern region of the country. The Defense Ministry says the attack, which comes a day after President Mohamed Bazoum was sworn in, was carried out by heavily armed attackers from a neighboring country. This is in reference to Nigeria, where groups linked to Boko Haram are active. The ministry also said several terrorists had been killed in a simultaneous attack against military positions on Saturday. Now, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned attack on peacekeepers in Mali, in which 4 Chadian peacekeepers were killed and 34 others injured. UN spokesperson Stéphane Dujarric said the attack was carried out on Friday against a peacekeeping camp in Agrohok in northern Mali's Kidal region. Dujarric said the Secretary General commends the courage and bravery of the peacekeepers and conveyed his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Chad. He also called on Malian authorities to spare no effort in identifying and promptly holding to account the perpetrators of this heinous attack.
We have an update from Mali where you will recall 4 peacekeepers from Chad were killed on Friday during an attack against the camp in Agolok. This is in northern Mali's Kidal region. 34 peacekeepers were injured in the attack. That's up from 19 originally reported as injured on Friday. The Secretary General, of course, condemns the attack in the strongest terms. He also commends the courage and bravery of the peacekeepers who robustly repelled the attack by armed combatants against one of their camps. The Secretary General conveyed his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Chad and extends his profound sympathies to the families of the victims. He wishes a swift recovery to all the peacekeepers injured. The Secretary General recalls that attacks that target peacekeepers may constitute war crimes under international law and that sanctions can be applied against those responsible. He calls on the Malian authorities to spare no effort in identifying the prompt holding to account of the perpetrators of this heinous attack. Tomorrow, the Security Council will discuss the situation in Mali. Jean-Pierre Lacroix, the head of peacekeeping, is scheduled to brief council members.
Now, staying in West Africa, where authorities in Ghana are investigating the cause of death of more than 60 dolphins that washed up on several beaches. Local fishermen say the phenomenon is extremely rare. Officials are warning against eating the dolphins and various other fish species that have been washed up. Ghana's Fisheries Commission says that samples have been taken for laboratory analysis. The latest incident comes after 111 dolphins were found dead off the coast of Mozambique in February. Last year, 52 dead dolphins were also found on the coast of the Indian Ocean island of Mauritius. Now, in East Africa, Somali National Army says it killed at least 8 Al-Shabaab militants on Sunday during an operation in Galgaduud region in central Somalia. Masood Mohammed Wassami, commander of Somali National Army's 15th Commander Unit Division, said on Monday that militants were killed following an attack on their bases located on the outskirts of Dusamareb town. Wassami told reporters that 2 senior Al-Shabaab militants were a part of the 8 killed. Now, southern and central regions of Somalia have seen clashes between government forces and Al-Shabaab since the militants were chased out of the capital Mogadishu in August of 2011 by the Allied forces. 18 people have been killed and 54 others wounded following tribal clashes in Sudan's Darfur region. West Darfur Doctors Committee said on Monday that the injured were receiving medical care at Al Jenaina Teaching Hospital. The committee, which is a part of a nationwide independent body formed in 2016 representing the medical community, said an ambulance carrying wounded victims was attacked in the melee. Now, it added that hospitals are still receiving victims. Elsewhere in southern Africa, Mozambique's military says a significant number of militants were killed on Sunday in the battle of the key town of Palma, north of Mozambique. Army Commander Chongo Vidigal said the area was safe as officials and journalists were escorted through the town. Though Vidigal did not categorically state that the military had regained control, militants affiliated to the Islamic State group have raided villages and towns across the province, resulting in at least 2,600 deaths and more than 350,000 others being displaced. The United Nations says more than 11,000 civilians are known to have fled Palma in recent days. And in North Africa, the European Union has called on all foreign forces and mercenaries to leave Libya as a precondition for a return to stability in the war-torn country. EU Council President Charles Michel made the call while he was speaking to reporters in Libya's capital, Tripoli. Michel urged Libya's political and mostly armed factions to seize a unique opportunity to build a united, sovereign, stable and prosperous country. He said the EU was supporting efforts at national reconciliation following the years since the 2011 uprising that overthrew and later killed longtime ruler Muammar Gaddafi. Coming up, Tunisia's epidemiological situation has been described as dangerous owing to the increase in number of COVID-19 cases. Details of these and more when we return. Stay with us. Now, Tunisia's Scientific Committee for the Fight Against COVID-19 has described the country's epidemiological situation as dangerous owing to the speedy increase in the number of coronavirus cases. This follows a 22.9% increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. Since the start of the national vaccination campaign against the coronavirus on March 13, over 88,000 Tunisians have received their first doses of the vaccine. Figures from the Ministry of Health on Monday also showed over 855,000 people already registered on the eVax vaccination platform. In East Africa, Kenya once again witnessed low-key Easter celebrations with a handful of worshippers attending services in churches in different parts of the country. This followed the country's newly reviewed COVID-19 prevention protocols after the government urged people to consider not traveling to reduce the spread of the virus. 5 counties in the country have been under lockdown, and number of worshippers scaled down to a third of the total capacity.
I have 2 questions. The first one is on the vaccines that are
with the Ministry of Health directing that congregations and numbers all over the places of worship and celebrations be cut down. It is seen to be an unusual Easter. And here in Kenya, Bishop Dominic Kimengich of the Sacred Heart of Jesus Cathedral in Eldoret led the Mass, urging parents to be closer to their children during this holiday season to avoid issues of early pregnancies and other forms of immoral behavior.
Now it is clear that the parents have to be on the front line in journeying with their children, talking to them, and ensuring that they know where these children are. Because children are children, they cannot make those decisions which an adult can make.
At the International Pentecostal Holy Church in Chebarus, Uasin Gishu, Christians marked the day while observing social distancing measures. They prayed for the ones who are in the zoned areas.
Nataka kukumbuka wenzetu wa Kristo ambao wako katika hiyo miji ya mbali, Nairobi, Nakuru na hizo miji zingine ambao wamefungiwa hawaendi makanisani.
Tusiweze kutukuza tu virus. Wacha tusikie tena viongozi wetu wakipea Mungu nafasi.
Iranian authorities say they have arrested an Israeli spy without giving the person's nationality. Local media says the spy was arrested in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. Other spies in contact with several countries' intelligence services were also said to have been arrested. In 2020, Iran executed an Iranian convicted of spying for the United States and Israeli intelligence. 113 people have been killed following floods and landslides triggered by tropical cyclone Seroya in a cluster of islands in southeast Indonesia and East Timor. At least 86 deaths were reported on several islands in Indonesia's west and east Nusa Tenggara provinces, while 71 others were missing. In East Timor, authorities say at least 27 people were killed by landslides, flash floods, and a falling tree, while 7,000 were displaced. On Lembata Island, authorities feared bodies had been washed away. Local authorities say a continuing storm had also halted evacuations in some places. Indonesia's weather agency says the cyclone would be weakening in the next 2 days. Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria has charged accounting professionals in the country to promote integrity and accountability in the discharge of their duties. The president of the body, Onome Adeoye, in Abuja during a reception organized in her honor ahead of the Institute's 50th Annual Accountants Conference, reiterated the need for accountants to be accurate and serve with integrity. Now, the session aimed to provide opportunities that would enable delegates get acquainted with new innovations in the accounting profession. Bosade Ikhanoba, chairman, ICANN Abuja and District Society, added that the COVID-19 pandemic made it more important for accountants to embrace the use of technology.
Economy as it is down below. We're supposed to be helping to move it up. I believe that every accountant has what it takes. So what I advise every accountant to do now is to work hard to unlearn their old styles and relearn the new things that will make them able to support the economy to go up. And I believe that this conference is going to give them ample opportunity for them to acquire more skills, to take on that responsibility of being able to assist the government to bring the country from where it is to a better position.
At the end of the conference, the delegates are going to be equipped technically, because we're going to look at things that will make their job easier, improvements that have happened in the profession, new innovations into the profession, and at the end of the day, the gala night is going to be wow.
One thing I know, there's always a blessing in disguise for whatever happens. For some of us, we never knew that we could work from home. And one of the things from the theme is that as accountants, we need to embrace technology. You can work from the comfort of your home. There are so many things that you don't need to travel to do, that you can do while you are in Nigeria, you are in your offices. And we also need to upskill our knowledge so that we can embrace, technology.
New records were set on Monday at the swimming event of the ongoing National Sports Festival Edo 2020 in Nigeria. The new national records were set by swimmers from Delta, Bayelsa and Edo states. Ifeasegwa Gagbe of Bayelsa became the new record holder in the 100 meters freestyle women with a time of 1 minute and 1.54 seconds, breaking a 9-year-old record. A new record was also set in the 200-meter butterfly women by Delta's Timi Pamere Akayefa. And that's all on the news this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Zimbabwe is close to rejoining the Commonwealth of Nations. Almost 2,000 inmates have been forcefully released from prison in Nigeria's southeastern state of Imo. Now, 4 soldiers have been killed in a twin terror attack in southeastern Niger Republic. Follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also catch up with our news and programs. Just download the News Central TV mobile app on Play Store and iOS. You can also watch us live on Star Times Channel 274. I'm Sulaiman Aralede. Many thanks for watching.